Hello, friends. Happy Tuesday. It's time for another episode of Tuesday Live at 5. This is Lena Gersa. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator from Cambridge, Ontario, Canada. Sunny, beautifully mild Cambridge, Ontario, Canada. And today I am rocking out with the Rock and Roll Suite from the Stampin' Up! January to April mini catalog. Now, this suite is one that I just love because it brings back memories of high school and big hair in metal bands and just having a ton of fun at school dances and concerts and whatnot. So this rock and roll suite, not only does it sort of throw me back to high school, but it also is pertinent to what I do now. I teach high school music, and we have a cover band as part of our extracurricular program, and there are a great bunch of students who love to rock out. So I am going to be featuring this fun suite today. I'm going to make 3 projects with you, and I'll show you a few more. And then I'm also going to show you a coordinating kit that is part of our kits collection, which is awesome. So even if you're not ready to dive into the suite, you can still rock out and make some cards for the rockers, especially teens in your life using the kit. So I will show you all of that. But in the meantime, let's see who's joining me. If you are watching me live or catching the replay, please let me know that you're here so that I can acknowledge you and hopefully say hello. So let's see who has come in here. Okay, hi Jeannie K, how are you? Did you get all that snow that they got in Nova Scotia? Holy cow, Nova Scotia was buried under so much snow. It was kind of crazy to see some of the images coming out of there. Hi Crystal, how are you? Hi Xana, hi Jean. Hi, Kathy. Hi, Jeanette. Oh, you bought the kit. Awesome. So you know how great it is. Hi, Mary. Welcome. All right. So I'm going to stop chit chatting here. I'm going to flip the camera and show you the products in the suite, show you where to find it in the catalog, and then we're going to get to doing some stamping. So here we go. Let me do the old switcheroo here. There we go. All right, so we are on page 54 and 55 of the mini catalog. Not a ton of real estate dedicated to this suite, but still so much fun. And I love that it's sort of part of this sort of masculine section of the catalog. So it works well, not just for boys, because girls like to rock too, but if you have teen boys or you, this suite is absolutely perfect for them. So let me show you the products. So we have, let me get these out of the way for a sec. We have the Rockstar bundle. So a fun stamp set with great sort of rocker, sort of hand or dry brushed fonts, and then some great images. Now I need to be clear, this is not a guitar. This is a bass. A bass has 4 strings, guitars have 6. Actually, basses can have up to 6 strings as well. But with only 4, this is a bass guitar. Okay, I'm just going to say that right off the top. We do have other stamps, images from other sets that have a guitar, but this one's a bass. Microphone, drumstick. I never imagined I would have a drumstick stamp, but look at this. Here we go. We've got one. So lots of fun. And then, of course, we've got coordinating dies, some of which cut out the stamped images. So we've got dies that cut the banner and the bass and the microphone and the drumstick. And then this one is a giant guitar pick. It is my favorite. You're going to see it on almost every project today. Love it because it works not only as a design element, but also is great to use as a label. And this awesome sentiment fits perfectly in there. And then we have a smaller, closer to real size, it's actually a little bit smaller than actual size guitar pick. And then some lightning bolts and stars. So lots of fun with the bundle. And then we have some fun sentiments. So this one, what are these called? Adhesive back to lightning and stars, very literal. We've got Coastal Cabana, Daffodils Delight, and there are white ones up under there that can be colored with your Stampin' Blends to really be any color. So fun embellishments. And then we have the fun paper. So this is all black and white. And lots of texture. So even if you're not into the whole rock and roll thing, there are so many possibilities with this paper that it's just kind of one of those ones you're going to want to have in your stash. So we're going to use this one actually on the first card we're going to do. It's like this peeling cracked paint or plaster. And then we've got this sort of worn check pattern. We've got these sort of hand-drawn drippy stripes. Love this one with all of the boom boxes and the turntables and mixtapes. It actually says mixtape. I don't know if you can see that, but so fun. And then this one, it looks like sound waves when you look at a recording studio. And then of course we have this piece, which is just begging to be fussy cut with lots and lots of different guitars. And I think there's actually a couple of basses in here as well. Yeah, there are. So really, really fun paper. And then, of course, when we flip it over, we have more great texture. So here again, drippy painted lines. These are all more of a black base. I love this one. It just looks so random. It looks like somebody took a piece of chalk and just kind of scribbled all over. This one kind of looks like a galaxy. It's really like just a paint spatter, but love the texture of that one. This one looks like crumpled paper. And then we've got a dry brush and a really bold check. So lots of possibilities with these for all kinds of projects, not just music related. And then I did want to highlight the fact that we actually have another stamp set that works with this suite as well. So this one, Enjoy the Rhythm, is actually in the annual catalog. And if you look closely, this Flying V guitar is right here in the paper. So it coordinates just perfectly. There are no dies that coordinates as a standalone stamp set, but it just works so beautifully with the bundle that it's kind of one, well, I had to have it, of course, because it's music, right? But it's one that works so well. And if you have a drummer in your life, I'm going to show you a project at the end where I've used the drum set image and then our die cut drumsticks. So lots of fun with rock and roll cards. So let's get to it. First card we're going to make is this one. I posted this yesterday. Just red, white, and black, really basic pattern, but with a hit of gold. And I want to show you how I created this red and gold marbleized paper. It's actually done using the Most Adored Celebration Specialty DSP. Okay, so it is this fun pattern. It is white and gold on one side, and then it's got that red and white plaid on the back. But to get that really intense color, you could use your blending brushes and sit there for quite some time to get the intense color, but I don't have that kind of patience. So I'm going to show you. I'm going to move my grid paper out of the way because I'm going to work directly on my glass mat because it's easy to clean up. And I'm going to take my Real Red ink pad. Now I've cut my piece larger than I actually need it. So when I cut my guitar picks out, I cut about a 3x4 inch piece of DSP to die cut those. So I've got a large 4x6 inch piece. It's a sixth of a sheet of the DSP, just because it's helpful to have something to hold on to when you're doing this. So I'm opening up my ink pad, and then I'm going to turn it so that I'm using that top edge. Okay, I'm going to go ink direct to paper. So I'm going to take my ink pad, I'm going to put it down on my paper, and I'm just going to swipe it across. And you can see why I'm using my glass mat, because it's going to get really messy, and I don't want to mess up my grid paper for my entire video. So I'm just going to run this right across. It really suctions, depending on how juicy your ink pad is. It's really going to suction to that foil. So you do have to be a little bit strong to pull it across, but look at how quick and easy it is to get that intense red color. If I wanted to get that kind of intensity, I'd have had to sit here for, I'm not kidding, half an hour with a blender brush. So then I'm going to take a tissue or paper towel, and I'm going to stop my stuff from falling on the floor. And then I'm going to take and wipe the excess ink off the gold foil, because the gold foil is going to resist the ink. And we get that great intense color. Isn't that fun? Love it. All right, now I can just take my chamois, wipe off the ink, and away we go. We can bring back our grid paper and carry on. The only reason I use grid paper and not stamping directly on the mat when I'm doing my videos is because it's got that nasty glare from my lights. All right, so I have actually done 90% of the work already ahead of time for this card. So we're going to color our bass guitar. So I've stamped it in Memento Black ink on white cardstock, and then we're going to color it using our dark and light Real Red Stampin' Blends. So I'm going to start by just adding a little bit of color here with my lights. I'm going to do sort of one side and then the other, just to give me a chance to blend this before the ink dries too much. So I'm going to kind of come around, because this is where my shadow is going to be. So I'm going to kind of come around here. And then I'm going to come in with my dark. And I'm going to come down along the left side here, because that is where the shadow would be if I were looking down on a guitar. or base, as the case may be. And then again, I'm going to come back with my light and just blend that out. Pull some of that dark in and get that blended out. Okay, and then I'm going to come around from the top and come down the other side. I'm not talking while I'm doing this because bad things happen when I try to talk and craft. Multitasking is not my forte. There we go. And then again, I'm going to come in with a little bit of a shadow here. Not quite as much as on the other side. Mind you, there's not as much real estate as there was on the other side. And again, we're going to blend this out just like that. Y'all are talking to me, making comments. I am not ignoring you. I will look in a sec, but if I look up while I'm coloring, bad things happen. Yeah. All right, there we go. Okay. So yeah, isn't that marbleized paper? You're all talking about this. Isn't that marbleized paper so fun? This is actually my favorite pattern in the pack because there's so many cool things you can do with it. I love doing this ink resist technique to add color, and going direct to paper makes it super quick, right? You have to spend a whole lot of time blending ink. All right, so let's put the rest of this card together. So I have here a 4 by 5¼ inch piece of that sort of cracked plaster DSP, and I've actually run it through the painted texture embossing folder. Can you see that? It just adds so much amazing texture to already great texture in the pattern. So it feels as rough as it looks. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and adhere that to a 4 1/8 by 5 3/8 piece of real red cardstock. So I'm going to use my liquid glue for this, again, just because I have used a 3D embossing folder on this DSP, and it's a little bit fragile. Once you use a really deep embossing folder on DSP, I would not recommend using Stampin' Seal because you'll rip it. It becomes very easy to tear. So there we go. Now, I think I'm not going to see much of that black stripe. I kind of like that little hint of black there, but I don't think we're going to see much. So I have my 3 guitar picks, my very large guitar picks. All right, cut from the DSP, and you can use whatever patterns you like from the DSP. I've just chosen 3 that I liked. So I'm going to add just a bit of glue. We'll add our first one, and then we're going to add our marbly one. Kind of coming down this way. And then our last one. There we go. All right. Leah, do you like that embossing folder? Yeah, I tend to use it a lot too. It works great when you have like a wash DSP pattern and you want to add just a little bit of extra texture. I love the effect of that. All right, so now we're going to go ahead and add our bass guitar. I have my sentiment here. Now I should have waited, but I actually heat embossed this in white on black cardstock, and then when I die cut it, my die shifted a little bit. Can you see how there's no black border around the top of the banner there? And it was actually much more pronounced. So I took my snips and I fixed it, but I actually should have waited and showed you how to fix a die cut that has shifted. But anyway, I took my snips and just trimmed it all a little bit closer. So it's a little bit less obvious that that side does not have a border. So these pieces are both going to get popped up. I'm going to add a couple of dimensionals to the back of my base here. Will that fit up there? Yep, just. And then we'll add a couple of minis going up the neck just to make sure that it stays put. There we go. We'll get rid of our backing. Hello from the Netherlands. Welcome. It's lovely to see you. Thank you for joining me. What time is it over there? It must be quite late in the evening, is it not? In the Netherlands? I don't know. I'm not sure how far ahead you are. All right, we're going to go ahead and add a couple of dimensionals to our banner. Now I'm just going to kind of put them in the middle because it is going to overlap our base a little bit and we don't want to double pop it, right? So we're going to go ahead and get rid of our backings here. Oh, I almost forgot. We need to add our lightning bolt. So I have some lightning bolts that I have die cut from gold foil. And I'm going to add them before I add my banner here. So just a little hint of glue is all that is needed to pop these guys on. So we'll put one there and put another one up here. So fun. I love this set. All right, so then we'll pop this on right about there. And the best thing about this card is that nothing on it is straight. So if you have a hard time getting things straight, you don't have to worry about it. It's great. All right, now I have some little gold stars here. The best thing about the star die is that you get 3 with one pass through the embossing or through the machine. So it cuts a bunch in a hurry. It's great. So, and the easiest way I have found to work with these is just to add a little dab of glue wherever you want to add a star. And then I use my glue goo end of my take your pick, and I just kind of pop them into place. Ooh, my glue goo is oozing there. There we go. All right. And then this, of course, is going to get adhered to a card base. So I have a basic black card base. It's a 4 1/4 by 11 inches, scored in the middle at 5 1/2. Hi, Martine. Yes, the musician is having fun making music cards instead of music this afternoon. Lots of fun with this suite. So we'll add a little glue here, and we will pop this on. Just like that. Okay. Now on the inside of this one, I just stamped the base, which is kind of boring. And I had still some more of this, like some scraps of the DSP left over. So I thought it would be kind of fun to do something with the picks on the inside. So what I'm going to do is actually add sort of a little parade of picks along the bottom here, rather than my boring, not that there's anything wrong with the base, but you know, this is more fun. So I'm just going to add a little parade of picks along the bottom, just for something different on the inside, and it's kind of reminiscent of what's on the front, right? So I might have to do a couple more because I think I want to overlap these a bit. Yep, I do. That's okay. I'll cut a couple more. I won't finish it right now, but you'll get the idea. Okay, I probably need one more across the bottom there. But fun, fun, fun. And then that is going to get adhered inside my card. And because I didn't do a sentiment on the inside, you could use this for any occasion. You know, somebody does something great, they're a rock star. My kid just finished his semester. He's a rock star. He survived. For any reason, you could give that card. All right, really fun. Okay, let's get that one done and out of the way, and we will move on. Oh, awesome, Jean. Oh, I hope your grandson loves it. My son is probably going to get one of these cards for his 17th birthday in April, just saying. So we're in good company. All right. Here is the next card. So this is one I posted earlier today. So different color palette, but still bold colors. I think that's one of the reasons I'm having so much fun with this suite is that I get to use really bold colors and images, and just have some fun with it. So this one uses Starry Sky and Crushed Curry. So you can see there's that. Well, here, I'll pull out my piece that hasn't been glued onto anything yet. So here again is another bit of that marbly paper. This time I've done that same direct to paper technique, but with crushed curry ink. Okay, and I like the way that looks with the gold. My background, and again, I did this ahead of time because it does take a bit of time. I have stamped and heat embossed the bass guitar image a bunch of times in white on Starry Sky cardstock. Okay, so a couple of tips when you're stamping, if you're trying to do repeat stamping with this, just try to make sure when you're stamping, I first of all started with it at an angle. So whatever angle I started with it at is the angle I left it at when I was stamping it. And then pay attention to the neck on the base as you're going and try to make sure the neck runs parallel, and then it will visually look, it'll look more pleasing than if the necks are kind of crooked. If you're going to make them crooked, do it randomly crooked. Don't try to make it sort of crooked, make it obviously crooked. But if you want to get it straight, really pay attention to the neck and try to have parallel lines running across. And then when you're doing the repeat image, same thing. So see how this, I tried to have this line up with this. Okay, so that's just a couple of tips for doing a repeat stamped image with this particular image. Okay, all right, so now we are going to go ahead and do some layering here. So I have, this is a 4 by 5 1/4 inch piece of Starry Sky. My little marbly piece here is 1 1/2 by 4. And then I have a piece of gold foil to layer behind it that is 1 5 5/8? Yes, 1 5/8 by 4. And I'm noticing my paper's a little long, but that's okay. We will fix. And I'm going to use some seal on this one just because when you're adhering onto foil, it does take a little bit longer for the glue to set up. It will adhere, but it just takes longer, and I don't have that kind of time when I'm doing a live. So we're going to go ahead and use our seal to stick that down. And then I'm going to trim off my excess because clearly I'm not very good at measuring. So there we go. And then that is going to get adhered to the front of our card about 3/4 of an inch over from the right side. So we'll just pop this on. I like to use my grid lines to help me get things nice and straight. So I'm just kind of lining that up, and look at that. My cardstock is a little bit wider than 4 inches as well. So we're going to trim that one down too. Oh yeah, it's a fun design, but it's easy to stamp. So, you know, you can make your own fun backgrounds. That's one of the beauty of stamps, right? Is you can make your own DSP. You don't need to have DSP. Mind you, I'm not saying don't buy the DSP because it's pretty awesome, but you can certainly make your own. All right, so there we go. We're going to layer that on a piece of crushed curry cardstock. So 4 1/8 by 5 3/8. Again, all of the measurements for all the projects today are posted in the video description. So if you want to try to recreate any of these, Jean, if you're making one of these for your grandson, all the measurements are there for you, and you can craft and make your cards along with me as you rewatch the video. So there we go. Here is our mat. And then we have, there's that fun guitar pick again. This time I'm using it as a label for my sentiment. And oh, Glenda, you've got a whole room of records and CDs. Awesome. You are like my husband. He collects vinyl records, and he has about 1,000 CDs as well. Yeah, so you would have lots to talk about with him. All right, so this pick is a great label for my sentiment. So that is going to get adhered. My sentiment is going to be straight. The pick is going to be crooked. Okay, so I purposely, when I die cut it so that the pick would be kind of cockeyed, just because I like that look. So we're going to add a couple of dimensionals here. And I'm almost through another sheet of dimensionals. How many times have you watched me run out of dimensionals during a live? It's more times than I care to count. All right. Thankfully, my drawer of adhesives is literally right behind me, so it's not a far trip to get some more. All right, and then I have one of the guitars from the DSP. So I've just fussy cut this from the DSP and colored it with my Starry Sky Stampin' Blends. And I like the scale of this with the guitar pick. I like the size. If I was to use the large bass guitar from the stamp set, it was actually too big a scale for what I was wanting here. And because I had used it in the background, it just didn't work so well with what I was looking for. So that's why we turned to the DSP. All right, now before we do that, we're going to add, again, a couple more lightning bolts here. So I'm going to kind of have one coming down my guitar pick, my jumbo guitar pick. There we go. And another one that's going to be kind of in the background here, coming in this way. And then our guitar is going to run just sort of across like this. Now, on my sample, I actually popped this up. So this is double popped. And it occurred to me after I had done it, it's like, oh, that's a lot of thickness. So this is probably not one I'm going to mail, but I am going to adhere this guitar flat so that I can mail it and not have to worry about extra postage. So we'll just pop that on there. I am going to add a mini dimensional to the headstock, which is that part at the top of the neck. You're going to learn more about guitars than you ever wanted to if you hang around with me long enough playing with this suite. So we're going to just get rid of that backing and just adhere that so that it lies nice and flat. And then again, I've got some more gold stars. So we're going to add a few stars kind of wherever we would like them. And again, just grab them with our take your pick and plunk them into place. Except my blue glue end is not cooperating now. I took too much off when it was oozing. There we go. All right, and then our last step, of course, is to adhere it to a card base. All of my card bases, not really intentionally, they just happen that way. All of my card bases today are black. So I have a 5.5 by 8.5 inch piece of cardstock, and it is scored in the middle at 4 1/4. So we'll fold that in half. And yeah, Donna, that's what's kind of my intent is cards for teens or young men, because it's often hard to make or to think of what to do for young men. All of my son's friends are his age, right? 16, 17 years old, and they have birthdays, and it's like, okay, I don't really know what to do, because most of the stuff I have is flowers and cutesy, and that's not going to fly with a teenage boy. So this, I was so excited to see this suite because it works so well for so many in that age range. Okay, so that is that one. Now I'll show you on the inside of this one. I just kept it really simple. I just stamped "You're a rock star." If you could put something else, you could leave it blank. But I just kept it really simple on there. You could also add some more of that like marbly paper along the bottom. That would be fun too. All right, so that is that one. The last one is my favorite. Saving the best for last. So here we go. Look at this. How is that for like psychedelic? I love this card. So I am embarrassed to say I have had a pack of holographic specialty paper in my stash for, well, when did the mini catalog come out? May last year. And it had not been touched. It hadn't been opened. And I decided for this card, it was high time that I cracked it open. So I actually used two different papers from that pack. But is it not fun? Look at that. So let me show you the paper. It is awesome. So this paper looks blue sometimes, and then other times it looks pink. So here it looks blue. Believe it or not, this is cut from the same sheet. And here's one that looks pink. It's so crazy the way turning the paper and the lighting changes the color palette of this paper. It's mind blowing. So anyway, same sheet of paper, same piece. This one I have embossed using the metal plate embossing folder, and this one is plain. Okay, but so fun. So let's put this together. This comes together really quickly again because I've done most of the work ahead of time. So this is a piece of that paint spatter or Galaxy kind of DSP. This one is 3 3/4 by 5, so a little bit smaller. And then, as I mentioned, this is a 3 by 4 inch piece that I've embossed using the metal plate embossing folder. So we're going to go ahead and adhere that a little bit cockeyed to the left. Oops, going too fast with my seal again. This is a really sticky roll of seal. I've had this issue where it keeps pulling my paper apart. Don't know what's up with it. Don't usually have that problem. At least not when it's, well, I guess this is embossed, so maybe that's why. All right, so there we go. Fun. And then we have another, this is another palette, it doesn't, or another piece in that pack. It doesn't show as well, but this is sort of a wavy silver. Let me see if I can pull out that pack and show you what it actually looks like. Here it is. Okay, you may want to put some glasses on or sunglasses on. Here we go. Look at this. Is that not wild? It's actually totally smooth, but it looks like it's wavy. Isn't that cool? I love this paper. I can't believe I haven't used it before last weekend. Shocking. So that's what I have cut this piece out of. Okay, so this was cut using the Everyday Details dies. You need to use the two largest dies to get this frame. And you are left with a really fun and funky label that you can use for something else afterwards. Okay, so that came out of the center of that. All right, so that is my frame. Now, when I made my sample, I thought to myself, wow, when I'm doing my live, I should really put some adhesive sheets on the back. It'll make it much easier to glue this piece on. Did I? Nope, I did not. So we're going to do what I did when I made my sample, and we're going to use glue dots just in the corners to adhere this, okay? Do not try to use liquid glue. As if, I don't know if you've ever tried to use liquid glue with foil, but if you get glue residue on the foil, it doesn't come off. And the more you try to clean it off, the more it smudges and makes a mess. So this is my like learn from my mistakes. Do not use liquid glue with foil. Just don't do it. All right, so we're gonna pop one more glue dot on here. And then we're gonna pop this onto our card front here, but it's gonna be cockeyed the other direction. Okay, and I'm just kind of tacking it on in the corners to hold it in place. All right, now we have our microphone. So this one has been heat embossed in black. I'm not sure if can you see the sheen on that? So I rarely use black embossing powder, but I decided it was high time, and I love the effect of it. I like the black against the smoky slate cardstock. So heat embossed in black on smoky slate, and then of course die cut with the dies. And then I have my banner here, my sentiment. Again, heat embossed in black on white cardstock. This is a started as a 1 by 3.5 inch piece of white cardstock, and then I just trimmed the ends using one of my now retired punches, which is why I did it ahead of time. I didn't want to use something retired on a video and have people asking me where they could get it. You can certainly do it with your paper snips, but I was just all about that punch. So we are going to adhere our microphone actually to the end of our banner here. So I'm going to put just a little smidge of glue. This is just kind of to tack it into place, and then we'll secure it once we put it on the card. So it's just going to kind of nestle into the banner just like that. And then I wanted it to be anchored on the bottom of my card. I didn't want my microphone to be floating. I thought it looked kind of funny. So it's going to be down near the bottom. We're going to pop it up, and it's going to, this piece is going to kind of anchor down near the bottom. Okay. So we'll add a couple of dimensionals or dimensional borders, as the case may be. That's, Lena's out of dimensionals again. Not exactly earth-shatteringly surprising. And one more. Actually, I like using the frames. It goes super fast. I don't have as many backings to peel. There we go. And I think I'm going to put one mini down at the base of the microphone there, just to make sure it stays put. And then that is going to go on. Now, if you want to make sure your sentiment is straight, make sure your background piece is straight. Okay, because of all the cockiness or cockeyedness, it's easy to have a hard time getting this straight. So just make sure your base is straight, and then focus on your banner and getting that straight. Okay. All right, now that is going to get adhered to another piece. And I know some of you are going to look at me and go, I can't believe you're going to cover up that fabulous paper. You certainly could die cut something from this. I'm not going to take the time to do it. Did I mention I have a whole pack of this that I haven't even touched? It's probably going to retire. I don't know this, but it's probably going to retire, and I'm going to have all this paper left over. So I'm going to go ahead and layer that. But look at how that outside border looks blue, and this one looks pink. It's so amazing the way this paper works. Now, again, I'm using seal because I do not want to use liquid glue on my foil and make a mess. So here we go. We'll center this on here. I should mention this foil piece, the background piece, is 4 by 5.25 inches. Okay, so that gives me my mat. And then we're going to add some stars and lightning bolts. Get this guy out of here. All right, so this one, again, is cut from that same silver that I used on the frame, and I'm going to use just some half minis to pop this on. So I've got one that's already cut in half, so I'll pop that on there. And we'll trim another one and add it up here. Just like that. Oh, thank you. You like this one? I like this one too. It's my fave. It's fun. Oh, this is a bigger lightning bolt. Oh, well. It's bigger than my sample, but that's okay. There's lots. The music's loud coming out of that microphone. Actually, music doesn't come out of the microphones, so I don't know why when I was thinking when I made this. Music goes into microphones. It comes out of amps and speakers. I do know how music works, how sound systems work, believe it or not. Okay, we're going to add a couple of little stars. Now, these are die cut from the fine shimmer specialty paper, also from the annual. And this is actually berry burst, but it works really well with this holographic paper. So that's what we're doing. There we go. All right, now that again is going to go onto a basic black card base, 4.25 by 11 inches, scored at 5.5. So we'll just pop that on and add a little bit of adhesive. I love that this is blue on the edges. It's just such cool paper. I could play with this paper for hours. So much fun. You're going to see it a lot in the next few weeks now that I've discovered or remembered that I have it. All right, so there we go. There is our last. Did you notice not a bow or a piece of bling And so I didn't even use any of the embellishments from the suite because those dies do all the work for you. You don't even need the embellishments. I shouldn't tell you that. I'm never going to sell you the embellishments. The embellishments are cute. Buy the embellishments. All right, let me show you a couple more projects with this suite. So this one, I pulled in one of the sentiments from the Enjoy the Rhythm because I wanted to show how well it coordinates. So I just used the You Rock part instead of You Rock My World. I said did You Rock, and there again is that marbly paper. I was having fun with ink, and in the Starry Sky. Okay, so my guitars again are fussy cut from the DSP and colored with Stampin' Blends. So this one is Shaded Spruce, Poppy Parade, and Daffodil Delight. Okay, so there's that one. And then here's the one I was talking about. Whoops, yeah, that's right side up. That I used the drum kit. So there it is. I fussy cut it out. Yes, I did. It's not hard to fussy cut. You just need to take your time. Colored the drum kit in berry burst ink and used some wild wheat for my nice brass cymbals. And heat embossed the sentiment in black. And then there are my psychedelic drumsticks. I actually have a pair of drumsticks that are very similar to this, except instead of the berry burst, they have silver tape on them. I have a pair at school. And then there's my guitar pick cut from the same cool holographic paper that I used on the last card. And I love this this paper. You're going to see it in a minute on another project, but super fun. And then again, on the inside, I just added an extra little strip of the DSP. And then here's another one. This is one that I made during my live launch party. So if you were watching that event back when the catalog launched, this is the card that I made using this suite. Created myself a vinyl record just using my stylish shapes dies, and colored my DSP using very 80s pastel colors. So lots of fun on that one. And then I wanted to show you how fun the kit is. So these are both from the coordinating kit. So this is, you'll find this in my online store. It's not in the catalog, but you can order this in the online store. If you go and just click on online exclusives or kits collection, you will find it in both places. And you make 4 of each. So you get 8 cards. And again, so if you're don't think you will get enough use out of the whole suite, but you would like to be able to make a couple of cards for some people in your life who might enjoy this style of sentiment and imagery, this kit is a great one. So it's got lots of texture, lots of dimension. It is a non-stamping kit, so you don't even need to have the stamp set. Okay, everything comes in the box. All you do is stick it together. Now, I will say these little guys are from the embellishment pack. The red stars come with the kit. Okay, so I added some of the embellishments that are part of the suite. For this one, these ones come in the kit. Okay, but super fun and a great way to still be able to make rock and roll cards without actually investing in the whole suite. So check that out. It is perfect for all levels of stampers and even people who don't have any supplies because everything comes in the box. All right. Okay, everybody, thanks for joining me. Let me switch back to my face so I can say a proper goodbye. I'm just going to quick scroll through comments here to see if I missed anything. I'm sure I missed a lot because I was kind of plowing through my cards today. Okay, Glenda, I'm glad you found that tip helpful. All right. Okay. Oh, your son-in-law's lead singer and lead guitar in a band. That is perfect. That's awesome. Okay, Leetta, you haven't used your holographic paper either, so it's time to pull it out. It's fabulous paper. And no, Diane, you do not need a disco ball with that paper. It's got enough bling for everybody. Absolutely. Okay, I think I'm just kind of scrolling through here really quickly. Thank you for all your kind words about my projects. I'm so glad you enjoy them. I appreciate your feedback. If you ever have questions about what I did, please send them my way and I'm happy to answer them. All right, everybody, thanks for joining me tonight. I hope you have a great week and I will see you next week for another episode of Tuesday Live at 5. Bye for now.